2024 was quite the year for tech, and 2025 is no exception. Nvidia dropped their latest RTX series. OnePlus 13 set new standards for what a top quality smartphone should look like, even featuring a new Snapdragon chip. Budget phones were going crazy with more high-end specs, and nothing got to release their first ever flagship phone. There's even been new release laptops like the Omen Max 16 with the latest RTX 50 graphics card, the ZenBook S16, and the Razer Blade 16. My point is, within a span of a year and a half, the tech realm has already gone through some massive changes, and it seems like as the days go on, the standard for what decent smartphone or laptop quality should look like keeps getting higher and higher. This brings up another question. How old should your laptop be in 2025? That could either be a laptop from the late 2000s, early 2010s, it may even be as close as 2020. So I went ahead and looked into some old laptops to see if they're still worth purchasing in 2025. In this video, you'll also find out how old a laptop can be before it's completely written off as unusable. I feel like the oldest laptop you can have in 2025 would be a laptop from 2012. There are a few reasons why I say this. For example, the 2012 MacBook is one of the first ever highly upgradable MacBooks to be released. The RAM can be upgraded to 16 gigs with DDR3 for a major multitasking boost. You can upgrade it to 2 terabytes of storage, replace the battery, and all that other stuff. By doing that, you can at least do some basic video editing, handle over 15 Chrome tabs easily, and be able to play games like Minecraft on low to medium settings. You can't do that with laptops older than that. Now, if you don't upgrade the 2012 MacBook Pro and you just get it as is, in no way, shape, or form is it going to be usable in 2025. I'm gonna be real with y'all, I wouldn't recommend getting a MacBook model that came out before 2020. These laptops do not age well. Mine ran pretty well. The first time I got one, it lasted me for a long time, but then after a while, the thermal throttling had gotten so bad that my laptop's performance started to drastically decline, and I was rebooting it at least 10 to 15 times a day. There are also laptops like the ThinkPad X230. It uses the same i5, i7 Intel chip as an old MacBook, and it's upgradable to 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM. You can equip it with over 500 gigs of storage, and Linux and Windows run smoothly on there. A lot of you probably don't care about Linux, but I'm just throwing that out there. It can run YouTube videos smoothly at 1080p, of course with some hardware acceleration. Basic coding and multitasking on there is pretty solid, and you can use more than 10 tabs on Chrome without dragging its performance. Battery life is still mediocre, but you can always make those kinds of upgrades. So in theory, this would be a pretty solid laptop, but without a CPU that's strong enough to compete with today's hardware, there's going to be a lot of bottlenecking, throttling, and overall poor heat management. Even today's high-end 13th and 14th generation Intel CPUs have been experiencing stability issues and increased failure rates. So I don't think having an older Intel chip would be ideal for anybody unless you're doing basic office work, watching YouTube, or doing something that doesn't push performance to its limits. Anything more than that is where I think older laptops before 2017 just don't meet the mark. But let's be honest, AMD is clocking Intel when it comes to overall price to performance ratio, stability, sustainability, and overall efficiency. In fact, if we look at those laptops, they age way better than laptops with Intel processors. The first ever Zen 1 was pretty usable, but it was very sluggish. AMD Ryzen chips from 2017 to 2019 weren't the best, and although you technically could get an older laptop and beef it up, I think around 2017 to 2020 would be the oldest laptop you could get with decent longevity and amazing performance. That is if you're not just doing the bare minimum. If you're just doing office work or whatever, spending most of your time on YouTube, online shopping, go ahead and invest in an older laptop. It'll be a lot cheaper. But if you edit videos, maybe do a bit of graphic design, coding, or heavy gaming, just about anything else, get something like an M1 MacBook. I actually have an M1, and the performance jump from an Intel to an M1 is crazy. This Mac is incredibly fast, it runs circles around older laptops, and I think it still holds up pretty well in 2025, especially if you get a MacBook Pro with the M1 Max. It really holds up, and it could last you for the next 5 to 10 years. Now, for a laptop that uses the AMD Ryzen, you would probably want a laptop that uses the Zen 3 chip because that's close to M1 and even M2 efficiency. Zen 3 Ryzen laptops like the ones running the Ryzen 5 5600U, 5800U, or even the Ryzen 7 5800H are still beast in 2025. They're efficient, don't thermal throttle nearly as much, and they're perfect for multitasking, editing, gaming, and even emulation. Pair them with 16 gigs of RAM and an SSD, you basically got a powerhouse. Even laptops with the newer Ryzen 6000 and 7000 series have insane battery life. So if you're trying to buy a laptop in 2025 and you don't want to blow all your money on the latest thing, getting an older laptop is still a solid choice in 2025. But I think the sweet spot would be between a laptop from 2017 to 2020, depending on what you want to do with it. I would also recommend getting a laptop with at least 16 gigs of RAM and over 500 gigs of storage. Trust me, that extra storage will save your life. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like the video if you enjoyed the content and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the next one.